Chapter 189. Golden Blood 2. Seeing that the scene was chaotic and his vision was affected, his eyes lit up and locked onto one of them. Instead of retreating, he rushed forward to face the aftershock. Yi Jingxun landed pathetically on the barren mountain slope. The silver armor on his body dimmed and many cracks appear. The silver spear Dharma treasures in his hand dimmed. His face was covered in dust as he stared at the bronze chariot with an ugly expression. These guys actually broke the Yi family's chariot so quickly. They're really ferocious. As he was thinking, the surrounding scenery suddenly distorted. A fog appeared, as if he had been pulled into another scene. Before he could investigate, a dangerous aura suddenly surged from behind. Quite fast, he dares to attack again before the aftershocks subside. He saw the reason. The aftershocks that were still wreaking havoc around him just now had turned into fog. Even his perception was disturbed. There must be an enemy who would use certain methods to achieve this. Without hesitation, he turned around and stabbed. An after-image dodge and a golden fist quickly enlarged in front of him. So fast, in his surprise, he had no choice but to retreat and hold the spear horizontally in front of him. With a crisp clang, the spear actually bent violently. His hands were numb, and in the intense pain, he felt a terrifying force surging over. He could barely hold his spear and was directly smashed into the hill behind him by an overwhelming force. Then, Sanshai's punch not only sent the fellow flying, but it also left a huge pit on the ground. The latter fell into the pit and his body trembled, especially his hands. They were actually a little deformed, and his wrists were bleeding. He was directly injured by the fierce and domineering power. Yi Jingxun's eyes widened in disbelief. They family had the bloodline of the golden divine body. Their physical bodies had always been strong and indestructible like gold. This was the first time someone had suppressed their physical bodies head-on. Weren't the people from the heavenly poison sects killed in using poison who had such a strong physique? The man who killed you. Swoosh. Sanshi instantly caught up and used the cover of the reversal array disc to forcefully kill this target to get a chance to draw the lottery. Yi Jingxun looked to be in his 30s and could be considered a young elite. He frowned as he stared at Sanshi, who was charging at him again. The power of the 9 suns condensed into a circle of scorching energy, and there was a white light between his brows, like the moon. His pupils contracted. It's you. At such a close distance, how could he not tell Sanshi's identity? What surprised him was that he knew this person to be working hard for the Heavenly Ghost sect. Why was he suddenly with the Heavenly Poison sect? Thinking of a possibility, just as he was about to question him, Sanshi had already activated the dragon subduing palm without another word. For a moment, fire dragons danced and heat waves surged. Sanshi was like a volcano, erupting with astonishing attacks. Sensing Sanshi's domineering and scorching power, Yi Jingxun's expression changed slightly. This guy is too strong. How did he do it? His realm is even lower than mine. He didn't understand. He, who had always been regarded as a genius of the Yi family, was indeed arrogant. At this moment, he actually couldn't deal with a person who had possessed his body and recultivated. What's his physique? What cultivation technique does he cultivate? How can he have such a powerful physical body? He could not figure it out. The powerful attack made him realize that he would be at a disadvantage if he fought head-on. He retreated again and gripped the spear tightly with both hands. Golden light shone brightly as he stabbed the spear at Sanshi's palm. His stab was incomparably ruthless. A series of sonic booms sounded in the air, as if he wanted to pierce through Sanshi's palm. However, Sanshi's attack suddenly changed midway. He turned his palm into a claw, and his dragon-shaped nomological power twisted as he grabbed the spear. A portion of the power continued to attack and bombarded the nomological power barrier on Yi Jingxun's chest. He used a variation of the dragon-subduing palm, and forcefully changed his attack into an entanglement. His face turned red as he forcefully snatched the spear away. What? Seeing Sanshi ignore the backlash from forcefully changing his move and snatching his Dharma treasures away, he was stunned. Did he not want to live anymore? Just now, he had such a strong outburst and suddenly changed his attack midway. At this moment, his physical strength must have been messed up by his nomological power, right? He was sent flying by a portion of the power of the dragon subduing palm, and his chest was hit by the 9 yang nomological power. His clothes turned to ashes under the scorching palm force, leaving a charred handprint. He spat out a mouthful of blood. After stabilizing himself, he sneered, "It must not be easy for you to change your strength at the last minute. It's nothing to me." Sanchi did not care about the internal injuries caused by the unreasonable change of moves. To him, this kind of damage was nothing. It could not compare to death at all. He stomped hard on the ground and shot out with a bang. He stabbed the other party's Dharma treasure back. "This isn't a mortal weapon, so what if you snatch it away?" Yi Jingshan sneered. With a thought, he formed a hand seal and controlled his Dharma treasures. The spear trembled and shone brightly, trying to break free from his control. Seeing that the thrust was not very accurate, Sanchi simply changed the direction of the spear and injected brute force into it, forcefully smashing it at the other party. This time, the latter had time to use both hands to receive it. The spear smashed heavily into the other party's magical power barrier that had already been destroyed once, causing it to shatter in a violent distortion. The spear struck the other party's body. The latter grunted and was sent flying again with a bloody wound on his arms. Yi Jingshan could sense that the gap between them was huge, and his life would be in danger if he continued. But he was unwilling to give up. He had never been suppressed so easily by someone of a lower level. He gritted his teeth and activated all the dharmic powers in his body. The power of his bloodline also erupted, forming an even stronger power. The surrounding air clearly distorted because of his eruption. At this moment, he had already unleashed all his strength and even exceeded his usual performance. In the end, a blood river drowned him, and his nomological power was corroded at a terrifying speed. Oh no, I forgot that he also has Dharma treasures. He wanted to escape, but the blood river that drowned him was incomparably sticky. It was like a swamp, and it was very difficult for him to move. It's over. Just as he was panicking and screaming that something was wrong, he felt the pain between his eyebrows. Then, his consciousness began to blur. There was a click. A spear pierced through Yi Jingshan's head and nailed him to the ground. He had obtained a lucky draw ticket. Faint golden blood flowed out from between his brows. Sanchi took another look. I didn't expect it to really be golden blood. No wonder it's called golden bloodline. Brilliant will-o-wisp bloomed in the blood. It contained abundant energy and looked like the blood of a god. It was rather magical and extraordinary. The blood-colored belt on his waist suddenly trembled, as if it had encountered something delicious. Then, the blood river took the initiative to surge towards his body and crazily devour the energy in his blood. Sanchi could clearly sense that the Dharma treasures were rapidly improving after devouring the other party's flesh and blood essence. There's actually such an effect. Looks like this golden blood is very extraordinary. No wonder the heavenly poison sect is also scheming. Sanchi fell into deep thought. He felt that if the blood river could devour enough golden blood, it could probably be upgraded to the level of numinous artifacts. At this moment, the life fan death goo between his eyebrows began to move restlessly, but he ignored it. As he controlled the blood river to devour the latter's flesh and blood essence, he pulled out his spear at the same time. The Dharma treasures buzzed. Due to the death of their master, their resistance gradually subsided. He formed a seal and condensed runes. After a few seals, he put it away. Although Sanchi was temporarily unable to unleash its power, it was not a problem for him to use it as a normal weapon. After killing this golden core cultivator, Sanchi grinned. He stabbed the spear to the side and formed a seal with both hands. 1,000 transformations. His flesh squirmed and his bones creaked. Sanchi quickly transformed into Yi Jingshan and looked around. The storm outside had just subsided, and the surrounding people did not know that a Golden Core Realm Martial King had died. The area he was in was affected by the array formation. It was very difficult for outsiders to investigate. Under such circumstances, they did not dare to approach. Sanchi threw out a fireball and easily turned Yi Jingshan's corpse into ashes. Sanchi muttered. The blood river sucked him dry. At this moment, a long black and white line appeared in the ashes. He grabbed it and put it away. The blood river quickly retracted its power and returned to its belt. This time, there was an additional golden line in the blood color. It looked a little impressive. He didn't stay long. He quickly picked up the formation plate and approached the next lottery draw. He did not stop the array disc from releasing its power, so when he moved, the power of the array formation also moved, enveloping some other people. What's that? The members of the Heavenly Posen sect and the Yi family were on guard. The former thought that it was the latter's doing, and the latter thought so too. The Yi family's golden core cultivator was wary of the strange fog. When he saw the golden figure approaching and realized that it was one of his own, he heaved a sigh of relief. Jingshan, have you fought with the owner of this fog? No one. Songshi quickly approached. When the latter lost his guard, he thrust his spear over and said at the same time, after all, the owner is me. How shall we fight? You are not Jingshan. The person who was ambushed widened his eyes and looked at Songshi.